Okay, so let's go to Ghana this morning to review stories. And joining us, we have our colleague in the person of Mr. Osei Tutu. I hope I got your name correctly. Mr. Osei Tutu, good morning and welcome to the Morning Brief right here on Channels Television.
Yeah, good morning. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you. What's the weather like, and what do you call it in Ghana? We call it Harmattan here, the weather that we have towards December and January.
I didn't get your question.
I said, what's the weather like in Ghana this morning? We have the Harmattan season in Nigeria. We call it Harmattan towards December and January. So what do you call it in Ghana?
Yes, Ghana, we also call it the Harmattan. It's yet to get in, but we've seen some signs that it's gradually coming. So maybe in the next couple of weeks, it will be here fully.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that you have a peculiar local Ghanaian name for the Harmattan. Okay, so let's delve right into it this morning to look at some of the big stories coming through from Ghana, and you help us put it in context this morning. So soldiers and police officers are said to have been deployed to the headquarters of the Ghana Gas Company following a tense standoff involving irate youths. And this comes following reports that the alleged supporters attempted to storm the premises, leading to clashes with security personnel. What exactly is happening? What are the underlying issues fueling this?
Well, the underlying issue is that Ghana went to the polls for the 9th time in its fourth Republican history on Saturday. Then the opposition NDC has won massively decisively with a difference of almost about 1.6 million votes. And therefore, some people alleged to be the supporters of the NDC have started storming some state properties. And in Africa, mostly people feel that the winner takes all politics. So they've been left out of the grand scheme of things for the last 8 years, and now their government have won. So they want to take possession of some state assets here and there. So these are the underlying conditions. And yesterday, the police issued a statement that they are deploying the military to also take guard of some of the key installations, including the Ghana Gas Company Limited. Yeah.
Okay, so we hope that is resolved very quickly. But maybe relatedly, Mr. Osei, President-elect John Mahama has urged President Nana Akufo-Addo and security services to take swift and decisive action to address the ongoing acts of lawlessness reported across the country. And one would have thought that, we're celebrating the Ghanaian elections in Nigeria here as being successful and rancor-free. But now we're having these stories. Tell us what exactly is happening.
So generally, the polls were generally peaceful. I mean, from 7 a.m. on Saturday to 5 p.m., the polls were generally peaceful. What the issue is that after Ghana votes, we vote in polling stations, the small units. Then we collate it at a collation center and get the constituency results. And the constituency results is 276 constituencies. And therefore, we collate them from the constituencies to the regional level. Ghana has 16 regions. Then we sum it all up, that become the national results. So the issue was not when we were voting necessarily, the issue was when we were tabulating the votes after the close of poll. And yesterday, the Vice President issued a statement condemning the President-elect, Mr. Mahama, that he should call his supporters to order. And Mr. Mahama also came back and said that, after all, I'm just President-elect. I'll be sworn in on the 7th of January next month. I'm not yet the president. You still have the executive authority over the police, so you should rather call the police to be decisive in their quest to stop what is happening. And Mr. Mahama even went further to say that it is alleged supporters of his party because he believes there may be elements within the current government who just want to make his government unpopular and engaging themselves in those acts.
But what's the body language really of the ruling party towards Mr. Mahama's win and, in fact, the party's win in the election? How are they taking it?
Well, it's a decisive one. It's historic in Ghana. We can trace it as far back as 1996, since the MPP, the governing MPP, lost an election of that magnitude. In 2016, when even Mr. Mahama won then, and we said it was unprecedented, he lost with a difference of, he lost with a percentage of 44%. The current regime is even struggling to do 42%. So that tells you how huge the defeat has been. And it's quite resounding in the history of Ghana, where the difference between the outgoing government and the incoming government is over 1.6 million. That is quite huge. So that is the narrative in Ghana.
And for the other elections, the parliamentary elections, talk to us about it. Speaking of which, the NDDC parliamentary candidate, Wurabena Ubin, has been declared winner of the Ablekuma Northeast. So tell us what's happening around this region and how it is impacting on the politics in the parliament.
So if you listen to our EC chair yesterday when he was declaring the results, she did indicate that there were 9 outstanding constituencies whose results were not in. But she went on to declare the results because based on the numbers, even if they give the entire votes that will come from that area to the vice president and the governing MPP, they will lose the election. And one of the contentious seats was Ablekuma North, which is in the Greater Accra region of Ghana. And this was a seat held by the governing MPP, and the collation was a bit acrimonious. On Monday, the EC decided that they will stop everything. They will take the ballot to the police station. The political parties will put their C1 and they will do the recounting or recollation of the results yesterday. And yesterday evening, after doing that calculation and collation, they announced that the MDC candidate has won, and the candidate is Rabina Obin, who has won the seat, and therefore the MDPP have lost the seat. Now, what this means is that the NDC is almost getting 2/3 of Ghana's parliament. Ghana's parliament has 276 constituencies, and the NDC is now hovering around 180 of that seat, and that is huge. It's historic in Ghana. We've never seen something like that. The closest you've seen was in 2016 when the MPP garnered some 169 seats in parliament. So that is a bit of an update there. There are still some seats that are yet to be decided across the country because some of the ballot papers were snatched. There's been even death. We've recorded 4 deaths in this election. There's been burning of the EC offices across some parts of the country and all that. So there's been a bit tension situations after the polls, and we hope that all these issues are resolved immediately.
And the big question is, despite this huge historic win, does the NDC have the answers to the challenges of unemployment, of high prices? Don't answer that, but answer this one: Ghanaian jollof or Nigerian jollof, which is better?
Well, I tasted the Nigerian jollof a couple of years ago. I still go for my Ghana jollof any day.
You risk not being invited to the program again. But we thank you very much. That's just a joke. Thank you very much, Mr. Osei Tutu, our own colleague who joins us from Ghana. Thank you so much for your time on the program. We look forward to having you again. I will give you Nigerian jollof that will make you migrate to Ghana, to Nigeria.
I look forward to that. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
And so when we return, we'll begin the next leg, or we continue with the next leg of our conversation right here on the Morning Brief on Channels Television. Stay with us. We'll be right back.